What's good, 99 Dream fam? We back at it, episode 19 of the 99 Dream Journey. My name is Julian Taliaferro. You already know we coming again with another weekly business update, lessons for the week, and topic for the day, which is one day can change your life. And to get this episode started, I want to start with the quote for this week, which is create tomorrow today. And this is a quote from Steve Armin, who's actually the director of the incubator that I'm in. And I think this is a cool quote just because it puts the emphasis back on you. It puts the emphasis on you to make a change, for you to make a decision today that will impact tomorrow. So that is the quote for this week. Create tomorrow today. And it's from Steve Armin. And now I can start with my business update. And to start off, I want to say that I'm still on the search for the product photography firm that I would like to get my product photos shot at. It's still on my to-do list and it's still a priority. I just haven't been able to figure out where I need to do that. I will need photos for my photo shoot, and that's gonna add some additional costs to the quote, from each of the firms. So for me, I want to make sure that it's the best quote that I can get. And also, I would like the firm to at least be in Miami so I can go on site to the photo shoot, or at least be able to be in person and communicate what I would like my product photos to look like. So I'm not just giving directions, over the internet in like an application survey, which a lot of the product photography firms have. So that's still in my list and I will need to do that. Secondly, my logo stickers and my product insert cards came in. So now I have all of my product packaging materials on hand. So now I should be able to successfully create my listing and get my FNSKU. But in order to do that, I would need to get brand verified. And when I get brand verified, that means that I will be sending in a photo of my product packaging for Amazon to approve. And from there, once they approve it, I can create the listing and then get my FNSKU. But what's interesting is that I went to a Amazon or e-commerce meetup on Saturday, hosted by Wizards of E-commerce, and this was a great meetup, right? A great community of e-commerce sellers who are all successful. And being in this room, I learned that brand registry is key, right? So brand verification and brand registry is different. Brand registry is when your brand is actually trademarked. And when you get brand registered, it opens up so many things in Amazon for your product to get traction, such as A plus content, sponsored ads, and like videos of your product on your listing. So it unlocks a lot of things. And if I'm a seller on Amazon and I want to be the best seller I should be, then that should be the first thing that I do. So that's what I learned. Being in this room, I learned that brand registry is kind of like the first base to starting private label. And for me, because that's not something I kind of thought about, I've been learning everything through YouTube, so my steps are a little bit off. But now I'm realizing that I'm going to move forward, getting my brand verified, creating my listing. But as soon as possible, I will look at getting my brand trademarked so I can then get brand registered and unlocked all these things on Amazon that will allow my product to get a lot of views and get a lot of sales, right? Because that is the main goal. And then thirdly, I think that my product has been delayed a little bit due to Chinese New Year. So if you're in e-commerce or you're looking to get into it, make sure you note down all of the Chinese holidays. That's what I'm going to start doing. Write down all the Chinese holidays so I know if my product shipment will be delayed in the future. And say it's like peak season, Christmas, or another holiday, I want to make sure that I circumvent all these holidays, and that way my shipment doesn't get delayed and I lose money, right? So that's something that I need to do now, make that list of the holidays and just be proactive about putting it on the calendar. And then lastly, I have a lot of kind of questions in regards to my business, like overall topics, such as like taxes. It's my first tax season now. So I need to figure out what to do in this case. I haven't had any revenue. I haven't made any money yet in my business. So what my taxes look like? What does that tax statement look like? I also want to learn. I said this last episode, I think, but about setting goals, right? Setting good goals. So I'm not just working to work, but I'm working towards something Then also just learn more about a business plan, marketing launches, and then just like documentation and organization within the business. So these are things that I know I can probably improve. A lot of I'm very organized and I have everything in order on my computer, but I know that there's a better way to keep track of files, to keep track of documents. So that's something that I would need to look into, right? But now we can start with our lessons of the week. So the first one is the main one is really just about getting in the room, right? Get in the room. And I have three examples to kind of back up this lesson. So the first one is what I stated in my business update, but I was able to go to that meetup for e-commerce hosted by Wizards of Ecom, and being in this room full of successful sellers, established sellers, accomplished sellers who are seven plus figures, um, being in that room, it was motivation to me, right? Being able to feel that presence, right? Being able to feel the understanding that everybody in that room had about e-commerce, knowing that they knew the ins and outs of whether it was wholesale, arbitrage, or private label. It was a great community to be in and a great room to be in, right? So for me, it gave me motivation to execute. So me, I'm coming in at the bottom tier, right? With e-commerce, just a beginner. I'm in the meeting, right? I'm in the workshop and I'm raising my hand and I'm saying I'm a beginner and I have no idea what questions to ask, but any guidance will be nice. Straight like that. And I know that I have so much to learn about e-commerce, so much to learn about Amazon FBA, and I'm willing to learn. So being in that room, feeling the energy, all great energy. Everyone in there was excited to help. Everyone in there was intentional to help. And me, I'm definitely gonna be going back to this meetup every week as a community. I've already joined the chats and whatnot. So I'm really going to be able to get tapped in with this e-commerce community, and it'll help me build out my business. And I'll learn tips and tricks, and I'll never know what I'll learn from just being in this room. So me getting in that room. The second example I have is on Thursday, I was able to go to a pitch night for startups who were looking for funding. And for me, this was intriguing because, I have aspirations in the future to do, other things in business, maybe have a startup, if I find the right idea. So for me to be able to go to this pitch night and hear these different ideas from the startups, how do they define their problem? And then how do they figure out the solution? How are they trying to increase market share or increase profits? What do their business plans look like? What are they thinking when it comes to expansion? So hearing all this in the pitch and then seeing the CEOs and realizing that they're just normal people just like me. So me increasing my mind, right? Seeing something that it's attainable, right, is very important, right? Because I think I said it in one of the past episodes, but like once your mind has been expanded, it can never go back. So for my mind to be expanded to being in the room with founders, being in the room with seed funders, angel investors, with the terminology of startups, with the terminology of funding, hearing all this, having these conversations, being able to network, it expands my mind. So I know where to go in the future if I do a startup, right? Or if I do something, in that field. So getting in that room and learning about that. And then also the third lesson that I have, or the third example to back up the lesson of getting in the room, was me meeting, a cool guy at the Miami Tech networking events that I go to, a cool black guy. And from there, him telling me about a community of people in tech, right, who are in crypto, in tech, who are, leaders in the industry, but they all love to hoop, right? So he told me about a community which is like tech runs, Miami Tech runs, where everybody who goes there to play basketball, they're all in tech. They're all pushing forward in their careers, in their respective careers, whatever that may be. And, they're leaders. So me be able to go on Saturday to this tech run, for me to feel, you know, good in the presence of everybody there, for them to be giving me game on life, just giving me game in general. And for me to feel the good energy from everybody in that room was amazing. And you'll never know who I may meet from these tech runs. And I may meet somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody else, right? Who will set me up for success. So that's the lesson. Just getting in the room, because you'll never know who you may meet, who you may learn. I mean, what you may learn. Um, what connection you may make. Is just is limitless from getting in the room. And this will also kind of tie into my lesson. Tie into my topic for this week, which is one day can change your life. But I'll kind of get into that after my second lesson of the week, which is I feel is more of a statement, but it was me realizing I don't know what day it was, but I was just mad tired, from just running around, going to a lot of events. But this was the first time that I've been tired, but I was satisfied with the feeling, right? I was overjoyed with the feeling because this is the first time I was tired from doing something that I love, right? Which is building my business, which is networking, which is building myself. This is the first time I ever felt tired, and I was happy that I was tired, right? So that just pushed me further into my purpose, me realizing that this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And that was a great observation for me to make. So maybe the lesson in this is you should know whether or not you want to do it, right? So if you're tired and you don't like that you're tired, or you're not satisfied in the feeling, maybe that means it's not the path that you should be on. Um, so I'm not sure on that, but that's kind of like my observation from myself. And now I can kind of get into my topic for the week, which is one day can change your life. And this is basically me saying that it only takes one day. All it takes is one day, and everything can change. You can wake up one day, go to sleep, and then the next day can be totally different. And this is can be due to either a change in mindset, right? It can be a decision that you made. It can be somebody that you met from getting in the room, but it really doesn't take a lot. It only takes 24 hours. And a lot of times we think that change can't be made in a day, because what is one day to 365 days in a year to one day in your entire life? But one day is all you need to put something in perspective. One day is all you need to add value to somebody who can add value back to you. And whether it's from my example of getting in the room and then me meeting a successful e-commerce seller, and then him giving me so many tips and tricks on how I can build my business, how I can create revenue. That's how it starts, right? Or just one day is all it takes, right? Especially when it comes to making a decision about your mindset, making a decision about how you want to approach life. All it takes is one decision, and for you to realize that the life that you used to live isn't how you want to live anymore. How you used to treat people isn't how you want to treat people anymore. And um, the one caveat that I will say to this idea that one day can change your life is that you have to be prepared for it, right? You have to be ready for it. When it comes to mindset, whether it means that you've been thinking for a while about how to make a change in your life, you've been thinking so long about what change do I need to make internally in order for me to be the best person that I want to be. And then after all that preparation, after all that thought, you'll come to the realization of, oh, I should make that change in myself. And from there, that'll start that snowball effect and that process to you becoming that ultimate version of yourself. But it all started with that one day, right, where you made the decision. However, there was the pre work, there was the pre thought into changing your mindset, whether it's you being prepared, right? You undergoing hours and hours of preparation for you to show your expertise, right? So for me, when I go to these these e-commerce meetups, right, and I'm talking to these other sellers, although I'm a beginner, they will at least be able to see the preparation that I put already into e-commerce, see what I've already learned, see my viewpoints, and Although I'm inexperienced, they may be able to take something from my viewpoint that they couldn't see because they've been in this field for so long, because they're so experienced, right? But because I'm looking at it from a different viewpoint, I could add a value, right? And then they can add value back to me. So that's kind of just the topic that I just wanted to say, is that one day can change a lot, right? Whether it's you meeting somebody or just making a decision. And although there may be some pre-work, right, and some after work, the one day that the decision is made is the most crucial, because that's the moment, right? That is the defining moment. That's the moment of realization. And then that will give you energy throughout the rest of your process, because you can look back on the day that you made the decision and realize that, yes, I was right in making that decision. And yes, I was prepared for meeting that person. And yes, I could add a value to that person. And that's the reason that he invested in me. That's the reason that he trusted in me. So that's the topic for this week. One day can change your life, and now I can start with the next steps, which is just the FNSKU submission or the brand verified submission, which will allow me to create my successful listing, and then product photos, right? Still need to get on that. And all right, let's get it, y'all. Go and achieve your 99 dream. And it's 99 dream because you are going to achieve your dream. And it would be 100%, but nobody's perfect. So you can achieve 99% of that. And let's go and let's get it.